Welcome to the debrief. Welcome back to the channel, Villa fans. I want to have your thoughts in the comment section down below. So welcome to the debrief. I'm going to have a look at it tactically. I've got some really good images to show you about what went wrong for Aston Villa. I've woke up today feeling really frustrated. Frustrated with the performance, frustrated with the way we played, frustrated massively with that first half, if I'm being honest. Just not good enough. Not good enough, is it, Villa fans? It's really not. And, you know, I don't need to be told how good Man City are, the threats that they posed. But for me, the first thing that I wanted, and, you know, when you do a match preview and you talk about the game, you shouldn't really have to mention these type of things, but they were severely lacking, weren't they? Bottle, aggression, belief, drive, willingness to want the ball. That was all lacking for me. It was the willingness to want the ball, to receive the ball, to impose ourselves on the game. I really feel like too many went hiding in that first half. They just disappeared. It was like, you know, you were watching the game thinking, where are you? Come on, help out, get on the ball, be brave, just turn someone or show something. And, you know, it was severely lacking, and it's really frustrating. And it's a tale of what we've seen on a regular basis from time to time, isn't it? So, you know, I am frustrated. I'm starting to see some reverting back to a familiar place, a couple of them. And it's really frustrating. And I've got to be honest, Villa fans, you know, I have to say what I see. I have to say what I see. So I'm just being brutally honest. Too many go hiding. So let's have a look then. Let's get into it, and let's see what I've found in some of the stats and some of the images of what we've seen from this game. So if you have a look at the XG from this game, shots with XG by minute, pretty dominant for Manchester City. Villa had a bright spell, a bright chance at the start of the game, ball over the top. I thought, do you know what? That's the perfect tactic against these. We said to turn them over, to play the balls in behind their fullbacks, and you'll get a lot of joy. And first minute, we did it, and that's what we needed to keep doing. We needed to be brave on the ball, turn them over, play through their channels, and you'll get a lot of joy with Bailey and Watkins. And we did it the first minute, and then we never did it again until Duran came on. So then it was pretty much all Manchester City. The stars highlight where the goals came from. Villa are at the bottom in claret as well. So this image, Villa fans, you know I like it. It's the average positions, because you get a real tale of where the Villa players are in this game. And you can clearly see where the problems were for Aston Villa. I said in the match preview that certain Villa players played too far apart. Now, there's too many gaps for me. And our biggest problem in this game is that we were double pivot FC or nothing else. Now, what I mean by that is this double pivot here, this is what Villa are very, very good at. We're good at getting the ball and looking after it quite well. I think our double pivot does work really well. And if I'm being brutally honest, it's the best thing about our Villa side is the double pivot. But everything else, and when I was saying like players go hiding, it's just that players are just too far apart. You know, I'm looking at Luca Dean here. He's positional really, really high against Manchester City. How many times in this game did Kevin De Bruyne play through the lines of Luca Dean and Callum Chambers? And this is partly why Chambers had an absolute mare, because he was in no man's land most of the time, because he was getting no support from Luca Dean. For me, in this game, Luca Dean needed to be about there. His average position for Luca Dean should have been about there, because what was happening, De Bruyne was going through there, De Bruyne was going through there. There was just no help for Callum Chambers at times. You can see where Jacob Ramsey is helping out for Ashley Young. Okay, that's okay. But in that instance, we need to see Bailey coming into this area and helping out here a little bit. But Bailey was so focused on staying up front next to Ollie Watkins that it just meant that we'd got 9 players doing all the work. We need Bailey, or whoever plays in this Bailey position, to sometimes just come and help out a little bit more, because there's so many gaps. And if you look at where Man City play, Man City literally play in this area here. So if you've got players that are out of position, that are out here, that are just, trying to do something else, we're going to have massive problems. And that's what we had. The average positions highlight for me that where Villa's problems lied. Now, the next graphic is going to show you massively where Villa problems lie. This is Aston Villa's passing network. So if none of you are familiar with this graphic, it generally shows where Villa's expected threat lies and also our passing network in this game. So to cut a long story short, where does the ball go into? Who does the ball go into? And where does that player then pass the ball to? So you can see the darker line indicates a higher XT. Lines with width indicate the number of passes. The circle indicates total number of successful passes, a minimum of 5. So the 5 passes is where the dark line goes to. So as you can see from this graphic, it's a bit like the average positions, what I've just showed you as well. So where are the Villa players? So you can see that Villa are very comfortable passing from Martinez to Chambers, Martinez to Konsa and Chambers into that double pivot. So when we're passing, we're going into that double pivot. So when I say double pivot FC, what I mean by that is we go into the double pivot and we've got nothing else, as you can see from this graphic. And what I was saying about players hiding, players not showing for the ball. Where's Ramsey? Where's Buendia? Where's Bailey? Where's Luca Dean? Where's Ashley Young? Watkins, to an extent, is, I think, a bit different, because we're looking for balls through into Watkins. So he's technically the receiver. But, why aren't these players showing for the ball and getting on the ball? Like, Bailey's so far away. I mean, like I said earlier, he needs to come inside more. But we really need to see some of these players wanting to get on the ball and doing something with it, because that graphic there is absolutely tragic. It's tragic. All we look like is that we're trying to get the ball into a double pivot, and then that's it. I can't believe this graphic, Villa fans, because it's so bad. It's absolutely terrible. So if we have a look at some of the players then, Leon Bailey, he had 16 touches all game, 57%. He won 1 ground duel out of 4. Jacob Ramsey, 76 minutes, 85% passing accuracy, touched the ball 18 times. Luca Dean touched it 23 times. Accurate passing, 75%. Ground duels, 3 out of 7. Emi Buendia touched it 19 times. Passing accuracy, 92%. Fair play. When he did touch it, he did keep the ball. And then John Duran came on, touched it 9 times. He touched it 10 less times than Buendia, who played 30 minutes more. Touched it, Ramsey touched it 18 times in 76 minutes. John Duran touched it 9 times in 30 minutes. So for me, when I'm saying about players going hiding, I'm just not seeing them be brave and bold and want the ball and really want to show and drive us forward. In tough games against Man City, the one thing that you've got to do is you've got to be brave. You've got to want the ball because it's so difficult because they're so good and they're on top of you. But if you go hiding, then you're just going to get swamped. And that's what I saw first half. We just completely got swamped. And that is where my frustration lies, that certain players just hide. And I'm just being brutally honest, Villa fans. It might sound negative, but I'm just saying what I see. So too many go hiding on a regular. And then, John Duran comes on for 30 minutes, 9 touches. His average positions where he is, his heat map, he's coming centrally. He's doing his job here. I mean, this is where he won the ball. This is where he won the ball and we scored a goal. And that's what I'm saying about the striker. That second striker has to come in and help out. He can't just stay up top because you're just leaving your midfield so vulnerable. So fair play to him for helping out in that area. You can see him helping out in this area as well. And then if you have a look at Man City's passing network, it's intricate, it's solid, it's structured. There's lines absolutely everywhere. I mean, you compare it to ours, right? Even if you even look at their passing network, the little lines to Grealish and to De Bruyne, and we don't have none of that. We don't have no lines going into De Bruyne and going into Grealish, and it's going back into Silva. You can see it goes to Mahrez. He's happy to go back to Walker, De Bruyne. You can literally see the tail of a game through this graphic here of the way in which a team play. We know Grealish will get the ball and knock it back. His strongest line is knocking it back. It's not going forward. So I think you really can see a tail from this graphic, and I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Not having that at all. You can see 26% of ball possession in the final third entries, 56% entries into the box, 67 entries into the box to shots, and this was Villa's attack efficiency, and 17% shots to goal. We had played 298 passes, 82% passing accuracy, 46% long balls. Man City played more long balls than Aston Villa with 65%. We had 7 tackles, 16 interceptions, and 15 clearances. This is Villa's shot map from this game as well. And as you can see, the run on Rodri, he got ahead of Kamara. Terrible defending from the corner. Again, we're at 6s and 7s. Again, though, you can see from this graphic, Luca Dean so high, so high. Looking back to try and recover this, and we concede with Gundogan at the back post. This is where Duran does really well, wins the ball back. Luiz plays a brilliant through ball into Watkins. Watkins, brilliant finish, and Duran with a great volley. Real bright spark was Duran. So, what am I taking away from this game? Bright spot towards the end. We looked far better. But first half just wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough at all. I think we really need to have a little look at this 4-4-2 formation with certain players. Luke Dean wants to get so high, but he's just not offering enough. We need to watch the striker, and the striker needs to come back into midfield a little bit and help out a little bit more. But like I said, I think Coutinho showed a lot when he came on. Duran showed a lot when he came on. Moreno looked better at left back for me. McGinn looked good when he came on as well. So I think all 4 are in contention to start the next game. All 4 added something in that second half. I don't want to come on here and always have to be moaning, but I'm expecting more from these players. I'm expecting a lot more from them. And when they play like that, it's just so frustrating and so annoying that certain players are just I keep saying it on this episode now. They go hiding. They really go hiding. You know, Bailey. I think Ramsey had a tough game. I want to see him getting on the ball a little bit more. I want to see Buendia getting on the ball more. You know, if Luca Dean's going to be so high, then I want to see more from him. I want to see more attacking output. Otherwise, come in deeper a little bit and help out a bit more. So it was a really frustrating game after, against a really good side in Manchester City. But I gotta look at what we do, and that's 2 games now where I've came away feeling frustrated from it. So we've got Arsenal coming up next, and that in itself is going to be a really difficult game. But I want to see different players in this team. Certain players need to come out of the team. I think Bailey needs to come out of the team. I know I get a lot of criticism in the comment sections for going on about Bailey, but I'm just not seeing enough at the minute. If you can give me a solid point to why Bailey should be in this side, then a fair play. But unless you can come up with a great argument as to why he should be in this side, I'm not having it. Not having it at all. I don't want to single anybody out, but I just don't see enough. Tactically, I don't see enough. I felt like in this game, he should have come deeper. I don't think he can just hang alongside Ollie Watkins and look for balls over the top. I don't see him being strong enough in a tackle. I don't see him getting on the ball, driving forward with aggression, looking like he can beat a man. I don't see none of that. I never back him when he's 1v1. I just think he's too lightweight. I hear him saying that he's this player, that he's got belief, he's got desire, he can go to the top. But, under Gerrard, he was frustrated that he weren't allowed to be as a winger. This formation, he's allowed to be as a winger, he's allowed to be as a forward. But I'm just not having it. He needs to come out of the team for me. He needs to come out of the team because he's offering nothing at the minute. He's offering absolutely nothing. I think Ramsey had a tough game because defensively he was up against Grealish, but he's another one where I need to see more. I'm not seeing enough from Jacob Ramsey at the minute. I'm really not. I think he needs to come out side as well, Ramsey. Buendia had a back to a normal Buendia game. I felt like he didn't offer much. His passing accuracy was decent. But again, I'm just not seeing enough from Buendia. So I think those 3 for me come out the team for the next game. Villa fans, let me know what your thoughts are on those players, on your thoughts on the Villa side, on where we're going. But I've just got to be brutally honest. I love the Villa. I love doing these pods. But if I come on here and I don't offer my 100% thoughts on where I'm at, then I'm not being real. So these are my honest thoughts, and drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I want to come on and I want to be like really, really positive, but I just can't at times. I just really can't, because sometimes what I'm watching just isn't good enough. And I can't sit here and say certain players are doing well, let's stick with them, let's do this. It was Man City. I've got big expectations of Villa at the minute, and so has Unai Emery. Unai Emery's got big expectations, and if we just say, yeah, we'll just roll over, we'll have our bellies tickled against Man City, 3-1, it weren't good, it weren't that bad, it was only 3-1. What's the ambition there? Why can't I, as a fan, expect more from these players? Why can't I sit here and say, you know what, you didn't play great today? I can expect players to show more, and that's not even being negative. Like I'm not even trying to be negative to slight the players. I'm expecting and demanding more from the players. So yeah, I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, and we've got to be better. We simply got to be better. So we'll leave it there. Drop your thoughts in. Up the Villa.